Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Botanical University Challenge 2022. Whatever shade of green you are, whether you're a mycologist, an algologist, a bryologist, a lichenologist, a teridologist, whatever, I could go on all afternoon. Whatever shade of green you are. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Botanical University Challenge 2022. Whatever shade of green you are, whether you're a mycologist, an algologist, this is our 5th University Challenge based just on plants. We started back in 2016 and we've got more teams than ever before, and we know that we've got probably 400 people watching right around the world. So welcome to all of you. We've got a slightly different format this time in that we're holding the event over 2 weeks. Today we've got a knockout round where 18 teams are going to be competing for the final 8 places in the finals next week. And each of them are going to be facing exactly the same round of 6 questions. Over to you, Dr. M.
Okay, well, I'd also like to add my welcome to you all our plant champions, 18 amazing teams, the biggest ever Botanical University Challenge. And as I say, this is the celebration of plants, our green allies, as David Attenborough calls them. I call them our green heroes, but whatever you call them, they are amazing. They do so much for us, and this is our chance to celebrate the plants, but also the next generation of botanists. So our amazing plant-savvy students, which are the next generation of botanists, plant scientists, and plant-aware students. Also, I'd like to celebrate our audience, and I can tell you, because I'm the only one who knows, we're on about 440 signed up through Eventbrite, so that's again the biggest ever. Welcome to our audience, virtual waves to our audience. One of the things you might like to do, you're already adding comments, is to think about our team names, the names of our teams, and put in the chat your vote for the best team name. There will be a video available of both the days after the event, but there's nothing like watching live, so please stay with us. It's going to be quite a long afternoon. Our schedule is to run 6 rounds of 10 questions each, and we're going to take a short break between round 3 and 4, just because that doesn't seem to be a bad idea. So yes, we have it's a pub quiz style. All the teams will face the same questions in their own little bubbles, and we'll have a leaderboard after each round, and we'll have some commentary, and we'll also have a look at the teams as we go through. May I just have the slide for the prizes? So this is what we're playing for. Apart from the joy of plants, we're delighted that Field Studies Council have the same aim as us to support the next generation of field naturalists, and we're able to give every person, every member of the team who's entering, so all 18 teams, each individual will get the invasives and woodlands fold-out sheets from the FSC. The teams that go round to next week will get, in addition, three other sheets, and then those who end up as our champions will get the vegetative keto grasses and some other fold-out ID sheets. So again, very, very delighted that the Field Studies Council have supported us in this way. Thank you so much to them. So moving on, we also have a first for 2022. If I can have the next prize slide. We have, well, we're delighted to announce that Sir David Attenborough has agreed to sign copies of the BBC Green Planet, the landmark series that's just finished on the BBC. And so we'll be able to offer a copy of the Green Planet signed by Sir David to each of our winners and runners-up next week. So there is a lot at stake here, but the bottom line is enjoyment and fun. And we hope that this afternoon will kick that off in a right royal way. then next week we take the next stage with the 8 top scoring teams from this week. So thank you very much, and without further ado, I think it's time to welcome our 18 marvellous botanical teams. And we're going to take these in order, which is an opportunity for us to welcome each team. So let's start down south with Team Plymouth. I love the name, Halophytes. So if you'd like to give us all a wave. And we're delighted to welcome Plymouth as a new team into Botanical University Challenge 2022. So welcome the Halophytes from Plymouth.
Next up is the team from Eden, I think joining us for the second time. Again, we're working our way geographically up the country, and the Eden project, the Technosols. Good luck, guys.
Okay, another new team for 2022 is RHS, the Wisley Whiz Kids. So an absolute first-class welcome to you for BUC 2022.
Next team up is the University of Reading, who are ever present and past winners of this prestigious title of Botanical University Challenge. They've been there right from the start, and they've also been hosts. Welcome to BUC 2022.
And a great welcome to the Open University, back again to compete for Botanical University Challenge 2022. Welcome, Open University.
Big hello to Cambridge University, who were finalists last time, beaten in the finals by MMU. And we see George there competing for his 3rd university. Welcome to BUC.
And Warwick, another newcomer to Botanical University Challenge. Pistols at Dawn, I have to say, I love that title. University of Warwick, welcome to Botanical University Challenge 2022. Let's give us a wave.
Still in the Midlands, we've got the Sutton Bonington team from the University of Nottingham, again competing, I think, for the 2nd, perhaps 3rd time. A nice mixture of undergrads and PhD students.
Delighted to welcome Edgehill back again. Edgehill were one of the universities who were in the very first Botanical University Challenge back in 2016. It seems an age ago at Kew. Edgehill were there, and we're delighted to welcome a completely undergraduate team from Edgehill. Welcome again to Botanical University Challenge, Edgehill.
Same part of the country, we've got Liverpool back again. Previous hosts of Botanical University Challenge back 3 years ago when it was at Nest Gardens, and the last time before we went online. And welcome back, Toby. I think it's probably at least your 3rd time trying to win the title.
And delighted to welcome MMU, Manchester Metropolitan, last year's champions. So a lot to play for this time. Welcome back, MMU, and all the very best for Botanical University Challenge 2022.
Staying in Manchester, the Manchester University team. I think they've been with us previously, but I think it's probably new faces this time.
Okay, a big wave from University of York. Welcome back, previous contestants. Botanical University Challenge. Welcome to the 2022 Botanical University Challenge.
Still moving north, we're at Lancaster University, who've been with us previously but missed out last year. And we've got Hattie, one of my old undergraduates, who's their team captain this time.
A warm welcome to Durham University, another first team coming to Botanical University Challenge 2022 for the first time. A big and warm welcome to Durham University, the Fight Club.
Moving north of the border for the last two teams from Scotland, we've got the University of Edinburgh team, all undergraduates there. It's always nice to see a team that's entirely made up of undergraduates. Good luck.
Okay, again from Scotland, a big wave from the University of Aberdeen team, Thistleton. Welcome to Botanical University Challenge 2022.
Last but not least, it's really great to have the first team entering from Ireland. A big welcome to the Galway Ginkgos.
That's great. So welcome to our 18 amazing, plantastic teams. Now I'm going to ask John Warren to introduce our two eminent botanical chairs for today.
Well, Chris Thorogood is going to be starting the first round. So I'll start the introductions with honour so Chris can go take us straight into the first round and into the meat of the competition. So we've got Honour Prentice, who's going to be the chair for half the questions today, and she's emeritus professor at Lund University in Sweden, and she's a very eminent researcher interested in evolutionary ecology, particularly with grasslands. And a little known fact is that she's a fellow of the Leopard Slug Appreciation Society. Chris Thorogood is at the Botanic Gardens at Oxford, where he's deputy director, and he's well known as an author and illustrator of botanical books. And one of the things that really sort of shines out of his CV from me is his commendation for his PhD thesis in terms of the Irene Manton Prize, because Irene Manton's one of my botanical heroes. I could spend all afternoon just talking about the wonderful work that Irene Manton did on fern cytology all those years ago. So over to you, Chris.
Thanks so much for that kind introduction, and I hope everyone can hear and see me okay. I can get a thumbs up from you guys. Yeah, I think we're all good. So firstly, thank you so much for inviting me to be a chair on this year's Botanical University Challenge. It really is an immense pleasure to be here, and I'm so excited. So Jonathan asked us to talk for a few moments on what plants mean to us, and to me, they bring optimism, something that it feels like sometimes we could do with a good dose of these days. Never before have we understood just how important plants are to our very existence. You know, they're the lungs of our planet. They provide the food we eat, the medicines we take, the clothes we wear. We know that, but also much more besides. So plants are a lifeline, we're discovering, to our mental health and well-being. It's an issue that's creeping further and further up the agenda now. And according to the Lancet, poor mental health was estimated to cost the world economy $2.5 trillion per year in poor health and reduced productivity in 2010. And this is set to grow and grow. So a price of $6 trillion by 2030. So really, whatever angle you come at it from, whether it's economically or for our mental health, we need plants, we rely on them. But I think sometimes what might get lost in the debate is this. Yes, we as human beings need plants, but we also have a great responsibility to protect plants and other life forms for their own intrinsic value, not just because we place great value on them. We should share this. We share this planet with millions of species, most of which existed long before we did. And we've taken a bit of an exploitative view as humans of nature, but we really don't have a right to make species extinct. So we've got this responsibility, a duty of care to protect plants and biodiversity. And there's a lot to be excited about. I think plants are really starting to grow up the agenda, and we're seeing interest in new audiences. This might be in the form of sort of houseplant trends, for example, grow your own, and in popular media like Green Planet that Jonathan was talking about earlier. And these are all important sort of edges into the conversation about plant science and plant conservation. So this is the fifth Botanical University Challenge. I'm so excited to be here. I was also excited by the creativity diversity that I've seen already just in the team names. I wasn't expecting Rihanna meeting Basil Angiosperms in under my umbrella, so that was a personal favourite for me. I also quite liked the for best posing. I liked the photo that Edge Hill put together as well. So we're seeing some real creativity already, which I think bodes well. But this is a real opportunity to put plants front and centre right under the spotlight in a way that's fun, creative, and from what I've seen in the names, looking at Fight Club and Halophytes and some others, I have a feeling quite competitive as well. But I'm truly excited by what today brings.
So hello everybody, I'm Orna, and I'm going to perhaps give a slightly more personal view of what plants have meant to me, or what plants mean to me. I think they've sort of virtually been a central thread in the entire of my life. I was lucky to grow up in the country, and the whole family were interested in natural history and plants and gardens. So yeah, it's a good start. I'm very fortunate. I did botany courses when I was an undergraduate and totally failed to find anything in the courses that seemed relevant to my interest in plants and botany. But in the final year, fortunately, there were some field courses. And instead of going on to become a geologist, I actually switched and did the final year with a specialty in botany. So field courses are really, really important. And those field courses, very late in the second year of my time as an undergraduate, they were just absolutely mind-blowing. And I still remember the details of an outing when we went to the Breckland, and I was told that, we were told that Cerastia marvensis was an indicator that a grassland had been cultivated maybe about 5 decades ago. Nearly 5 decades later, I was bowled over to find that Cerastia marvensis is an indicator of grasslands that have been under arable cultivation 50 to 100 years ago on one of my study sites on the Baltic island of Öland. So plants are absolutely amazing. So most of my research has been directed at questions that are relevant for an understanding of biodiversity and very broad: paleoecology, population genetics, hybridization, phylogeography, community ecology, historical ecology. And that meant I ended up working across subject boundaries. And this is another thing that I feel is really important. These subject boundaries were remarkably strict or rigid until quite recently. And it's an advantage, for example, to have some background in the geosciences, I think, if you want to be an ecologist. But so I've ended up as a jack of all trades, master of none, and I'm okay with that. I slid gradually into grasslands and grassland ecology, really through working with the population genetics of rare species that just happen to use grassland habitats. And I must say, I'm getting more and more obsessed with grasslands, the mind-boggling complexity and the elegance of what has been going on and is going on above and below ground and in the local adaptation of species. So I'm proud to be a grassland nerd, and I want to try and act as an ambassador for grassland habitats and the important roles that we now should understand that they play in the climate and biodiversity emergencies, which is where all of you in the teams come in. And don't forget the reserves in the teams as well. I find it really exciting that all of you are sufficiently passionate about plants to join this contest. And I can say my generation has made a really good job of sabotaging the diversity and the functioning of the planet. It's your generation of plant biologists who are going to have to be the ones who try and save what's left. And I think it's important now to consider our roles as scientists. I think that in the future, trying to save the world through plant biology is going to have to involve taking the science all the way to actions, rather than just delivering excellent science and expecting politicians to notice it and turn it into solutions. So plants are our future. It's a good time to be a plant biologist. And I wish you all lots of luck in the contest and, of course, in your future as plant ambassadors.
John.
Thanks very much for that, Chris and Honor. It's great to have some inspirational sort of getting the team psyched up and telling us what plants mean for you and why they're important, not just for you, but for the teams and for the planet. I think it's time to roll our sleeves up and sort of get on with the competition. So I'm going to hand you over to Chris.
Thanks ever so much, John, and thanks, Honor, as well. And so over to, as Honor described, our plant ambassadors to take us nicely into round one. And I hope you're all ready and excited. And soon we'll be seeing question one. Question one. Which plant was the inspiration for the design of the Crystal Palace built for the Great Exhibition of 1851? Was it A, the golden lotus Musella lasiocarpa? Was it B, the giant water lily Victoria amazonica? Was it C, lotus, or the sacred lotus no less, Nelumbo nucifera? Or was it D, giant rhubarb Gunnera manicata? Question 2. Time-lapse photography was a feature of both The Green Planet in 2022 and The Private Life of Plants in 1995. Who was the near genius responsible for this in both series? Was it A, Mike Gunton, B, Rupert Barrington, C, Simon Barnes, or D, Tim Shepherd? And there you can see the images of those. Three seconds left on this one. And over to question 3. Where is the Svalbard Global Seed Vault Seed Bank located? Is it A, Sweden, B, Finland, C, Iceland, or D, Norway? That's A, Sweden, B, Finland, C, Iceland, or D, Norway. There's a nice picture of it. Just under 10 seconds left. 5 seconds. And on to question 4. Which of these lists gives taxonomic ranks from low to high? Is it A, family, variety, genus, species, B, family, genus, species, variety, C, variety, species, genus, family, or D, species, variety, genus, family? A few seconds left. Time's up on question 4. Question 5. Araucaria araucana, commonly known as the monkey puzzle tree, is a threatened species. Where is its native range? Is it A, Chile and Argentina, B, Chile and Peru, C, Chile and Bolivia, or D, Chile and Brazil? So that's Chile and Argentina, Chile and Peru, Chile and Bolivia, or Chile and Brazil. Very statuesque tree that adorns many a British front garden. Question 6. What is vernation? Is it A, the arrangement of veins on a leaf, B, the emergence of leaves in spring, C, the formation of new leaves, or D, the arrangement of scales on a bud? I'm not sure if the time is ticking on other people's screens. You may have got an extra bit of time there. So is it the arrangement of veins on a leaf? Is it the emergence of leaves in spring, the formation of new leaves, or the arrangement of scales on a bud? And with your booster time, you've now got about 10 seconds left to think this one over. All right, on to the next one. So question 7, where in the world can the ancestors of aubergine be found growing wild? A, South America, B, India, C, the Mediterranean, or D, Central America? Is it South America, India, the Mediterranean, or Central America? Wild ancestors of the aubergine. A few seconds left. You can see your answers coming in at the last minute. Some guesses, maybe not. Question 8. In botany, what does the term endemic mean? Is it A, confined to one geographic area? Is it B, the nutritive tissue for a developing embryo? C, is it describing a flowery texture? Or D, a group of taxa, all descendants of a single or common ancestor? A few of you left to answer. I can see those answers coming in. A few seconds left. Okay, time's up on that one. Question 9. The cashew nut is in the same family as which of the following? Is it A, the custard apple, B, the Brazil nut, C, the mangosteen, or D, the mango? And that's what one looks like, if you didn't know, growing as it does naturally, looking quite bizarre, I always think. And an insight into why it's so expensive probably to buy. It must be a difficult one to harvest. 3 seconds left. Question 10. Which is the most recently designated national park in Britain? Is it the New Forest, A, the New Forest, B, the South Downs, C, Loch Lomond, or D, the Cairngorms? Just under 20 seconds left to answer. That's the last question. How did we find that, I wonder? So I think we've got a minute now, whilst there's some back of house activity, compiling things. I thought that was a very interesting range of questions put together. I liked the first one particularly, referring to the design of the Crystal Palace, and a wonderful reminder of how plants have informed so many things, the design of so many things in our everyday lives, from self-cleaning paint to self-cleaning glass and Velcro, as well as the designs in architecture, such as the iconic example that we saw in the question. Fascinating.
The cashew nut question reminded me of another reason that it's important to know about plants, is that the first time I ever came across those growing in cultivation, I'd forgotten about the toxic oils in the seed coat and tried to crack them open with my teeth, and as a result, all my lips were blistered and burnt. You never make that mistake again.
That's because it wasn't on your risk assessment, you see. If it's not written in Excel, it's good to know your botany, isn't
Yeah,
it?
quite an amazing tree. And as you say, it makes you understand why they're so expensive when you see how few nuts there can be on a tree.
Yeah, absolutely. Lovely. Okay, so I think now I'm going to go through the answers, correct? So I'm going to
Yep.
Great. Okay, so question 1 was, which plant was the inspiration for the design of the Crystal Palace? And the answer was B, the giant water lily, Victoria amazonica. Question 2 about time-lapse photography, feature of those series. Who was the near genius? And the answer is Tim Shepherd. Question 3, the Svalbard Global Seed Vault Seed Bank, that's located in Norway. Which of these lists, so you can see there for yourselves, variety, species, genus, family, going from low to high. The monkey puzzle tree is from Chile and Argentina, that's its native range. Vernation, the formation of new leaves. The wild ancestors of the aubergine are to be found in India. Question 8, the term endemic means confined to one geographic area. Possibly an easier one. The cashew nut is in the same family as the mango. And finally, which of these was the most recently designated national park in Britain? It's the South Downs. And there we are. That's round 1, folks. So I think there's just some updating going on behind the scenes, but I wonder how everyone found that particular round. I thought it was quite a nice mixture of uses of plants, plants on TV, taxonomy. I think we covered quite a lot of ground for the first round there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm hoping when we get the scoreboard up, we'll be able to bring on 1 or 2 of the teams and at least get their thumbs up or thumbs down for that.
The scores are up. The scores. So, am I repeating?
Here we go.
Here we go. So here is the leaderboard, and I think John and Jonathan are going to share their reactions on this for us now.
Yeah, we certainly are. There's quite a range there. We can see the whole range there from the top, as you say, Cambridge at the top, through Eden, Plymouth, OU, Warwick, and down. All decent scores though. John, any thoughts?
Yeah, really amazing to see somebody with full marks when you looked at how the teams had done, because some of the questions, like the aubergine question, really had people sort of struggling. Whereas the endemic question, everybody got right. So Cambridge are doing really well to get 10 out of 10.
No, I think it's really, really impressive. I'm so impressed that one team got full marks, and everyone has had a good go at this. You know, that's in terms of a bell curve. There's not too much a spread because most people have done really well. Well, all teams have done well actually.
Yeah. Teams there.
No teams that haven't managed any of them, and we did have some really tricky ones in there. So I think congratulations everyone here.
Yeah, and I'll just point out we're looking sadly to some teams won't make it through to next week. But notice the cluster around 8, and if we do have a tie for position 8, then we will need a tiebreaker to decide. So there's everything to play for.
There is indeed.
Okay. Right, so moving on to the first question in round 2. What can Arachis hypergaea, Sesamum indicum, Brassica napus and Cocos nucifera all be commonly used as? Can they be used as leaf vegetables, cooking oil, flour substitute, or insect repellents? So leaf veg, cooking oil, flour, or insect repellents. So time's running out. On to question 2. Which one of the following is in the same plant family as the cucumber? A, black bryony. B, white bryony. C, hops. And D, traveller's joy. So black bryony, white bryony, hops and traveller's joy. Which one is in the same family as the cucumber? Critical, yeah. Okay, question 3. Where would you be most likely to find a Hesperidium? Will you find it in a joke shop, in a timber yard, in a supermarket, or in a rowing boat? So where would you be most likely to find a Hesperidium? Time's ticking away. Question 4. Which of the following species is not edible? Is it A, the nettle, Urtica dioica, B, the ground elder, Aegopodium podagraria, C, the lily of the valley, Convallaria majalis, or D, Ramson's, Allium ursinum? So nettle, ground elder, lily of the valley, or Ramson's. Question 5. A pentamerous flower always has A, floral parts that alternate between whorls. B, floral parts in spiral arrangement. C, floral parts in sets of 5. Or D, floral parts in 5 whorls. Time's nearly out. Moving on to question 6. Which of the following is not listed on Schedule 9 of the Wildlife and Countryside Act as amended? Is it A, Renutria japonica, the Japanese knotweed, B, Crassula helmsii, New Zealand pygmy weed, C, Buddleia davidii, the butterfly bush, or D, Heracleum mantegasianum, giant hogweed? Question 7. A perfect flower in botany is defined as what? A flower with many planes of symmetry, that is a flower that's actinomorphic. B, a flower with the same number of sepals and petals. C, a female flower. Or D, a flower that is both male and female. Time nearly out. Question 8. How many needles does Scots pine, Pinus sylvestris, have per cluster? Is it A, 2, B, 3, C, 4, or D, 5? So the number of needles in a cluster on Scots pine, is it 2, 3, 4, or 5? Time nearly out. Question 9. What are therophytes? Are they A, desert plants, B, annual plants, C, water plants, or D, perennial plants? So are therophytes desert plants, annual plants, water plants, or perennial plants? Time out, nearly. And final question in this round, question 10. In botany, what is a couplet? Is it A, a small cup-like outgrowth of a leaf or petal? B, a closely related pair of species sharing ecological features? C, a recess in a leaf, stem, or other structure that secretes liquid? Or D, a closely related pair of questions in an identification key? So during the changeover, we've got time for a few reflections. And I thought I'd mention something that really irritates me about zoologists and botanists. For those of us who are passionate about plants, and we really understand how important they are, I find it really strange that animals are somehow regarded as being much sexier research subjects. But I mean, the late, great John Harper said, plants stand still to be counted. And it must be obvious to any researcher in evolutionary biology or genetics or ecology that that's a real advantage. I don't know how many times after I've given a talk that zoological colleagues come up to me being nice and polite and they say, "Oh, I'm so envious of you people who work with plants." Because they don't move around, they just stay in the same place. And I think, okay, the only answer to that is just throw up your hands, duh, why don't you, etc. So I think this is something we've got to work on. The plants, birds, and to a certain extent, mammals and insects are regarded as being much more exciting research subjects. So obviously we've got to work hard here. Right. Okay, so we're going into the answers now. Yes. Question 1. What can the groundnut, sesame, canola or rapeseed and coconut all commonly be used as? And the answer is cooking oil. Everybody got that without any problems. Okay. Next question, yes. Question 2. Which of the following is the same plant family as the cucumber? And there the correct answer is white bryony, and you did well on that. All of the plants here are twining plants that you can find in the hedgerows of at least southern Britain. So moving on to question 3. Where would you find a Hesperidium? In a supermarket. Congratulations to the people who got that right. So Hesperidium is modified or type of modified berry where there are little hairs inside that have become all fleshy and juicy. So things like oranges, citrus fruits are Hesperidia. So on to edibility. Which of the following species is not edible? And that's good because 94% of the teams realised that lily of the valley isn't edible. And this could be a problem because actually the leaves of the lily of the valley and ramsons are remarkably similar when they're young. So well done there. You're not going to poison your families. So question 5, a pentamerous flower. And there the correct answer is floral parts in sets of 5. Pentamerous from Greek penta, same as in 5-pointed star, pentagon. Which of the species here are not listed on the schedule of the Wildlife and Countryside Act? They're all regarded as invasive species, but it's the buddleia that isn't listed at the moment. And it's the only one of the quartet that doesn't actually totally wipe out and smother all the surrounding vegetation and the native plant species. The others are real rogues. Question 7, a perfect flower in botany is a flower that is both male and female. And I find this very strange that a perfect flower should be regarded, a term devised by humans, should be a flower that is both male and female. It's something that one could reflect on, perhaps. It'd be easier to call them hermaphrodites, I think. Question 8, how many needles does Scots pine have? And most of you got that right, it's 2. I think most of the European pines have 2, but there are some like the stone pine, Pinus sembra, that have 5, for example. What are therophytes? Less than half got that actually. It's annual plants, and the term comes from the life form classification of Rankier, which is useful in some contexts, in terms of functional groups and so forth. And then the final answers to the final question, what is a couplet? And the answer here is a closely related pair of questions in an identification key, which again can be a bit strange because in some identification keys, the alternatives or pairs of questions can be several pages apart, but yeah, couplet is the right answer here. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thanks, Honor. I'm getting some lovely comments on the YouTube from the audience, so please do keep doing
great.
that. They're liking the fact, Honor, that you're presenting extra information. So, chairs, take note. Extra information with the answers is great. There was a zoology student who's, and I'm sure all kinds of students appreciate that. That's super. They want some music, so if anyone feels like singing, or if anyone's got a piano handy, that would be good. I take the point. I take the point. In a way, the suspense is building quietly. And there's also a comment about for some people finding the screen on the YouTube is difficult to watch, whether to see it's rather small. So if it's, we may need to think about perhaps if it's possible, making that a bit bigger for people to see. Tech team are working on that, so we are working on that. So thanks for those comments. I was amused by Honor's
comments there that plants don't move around. I'm looking out of the window; they're moving around a lot today.
Oh yeah,
they're waving a bit here in Sweden as well.
I blame Eunice for that. But yes, so thanks for the comments. Thanks, Honor, for that. Some great questions there. Lots of good scores, I have to say. I think that was a high-scoring round. And so I'm on tenterhooks here. I think we're just the tech team are just sorting out the scores, so we can carry on chatting.
Yeah, if they're high scores, that's impressive. So I thought there were some tough questions in there.
Can't see the scores at the moment.
No, that's being worked on as we speak in real time. So just really to point forward to next week in the finals. It's a different format, so we'll have teams playing in pairs, and we'll have a different format with the scoring. So this week it's an automated quiz, and next week it's teams competing in pairs going through quarter, semi, and finals. So we're really looking for. I think all of us are on the edge of our seats here, waiting for the scores to come. I thought I heard some music, but it was a siren, a police siren. They're not uncommon. They're not uncommon in Reading. John, over to you.
Well, I'm just sort of wondering how nervous the teams are feeling. If we're biting our fingernails waiting for the scores, it must be even more nerve-wracking if you've just sort of submitted your scores and wanting to know how you've done.
But there's a long way to go yet.
Pulling away. Yeah,
long way
is.
to go.
There's an awful lot of teams on 6 and 7 in the last round. So yeah.
Well, I'm impressed looking through at all these questions. I don't know how I'd have done if I'd been presented with the questions completely cold. There's a lot of stuff there that either I was uncertain about or have forgotten.
Chris, welcome back, Chris. Any comments from you during this nail-biting wait?
Yeah, I'm quite enjoying the suspense, actually. I find it quite exciting. I agree with everything that you guys have said. I think it's such an eclectic mix of questions, and there were some really tricky ones in there, actually. I think, to be fair.
Some were really difficult.
Yeah, I thought was the previous round, was it vernation? That was a bit cheeky, wasn't it? And vernation isn't quite what you immediately think. Oh, that must be about veins, but it's actually about
the Hesperidium in the joke shop made me laugh. That one.
Yeah, that's right. And actually, I had to think, what the hell is a Hesperidium? I mean, that was a long time ago. When
have we got any teams? Can we talk to any of the teams? Do we have any teams there? Let's see if we've got any teams to give us some reaction. I'm not sure if we have.
We did have. They appeared and they've sort of disappeared.
Yeah. I'm getting a message from the tech team. I think they might be ready to share a.
Good luck, everyone.
Why? Well, heavens.
Goodness.
Who'd have thought? Cambridge have got 2 full rounds by the looks of it. Eden, RHS, Manchester doing very strong, and lots of great scores all the way down.
Yeah.
The Herbenauts are flying high.
Absolutely.
I don't want to worry you, Jonathan, but Reading have won it a couple of times in the past and not in the top 8 at this point in the game.
They're close though. Come on, look at that. They're down number 10. That can easily change.
Clusters around it.
On a sixpence. Trust me, I know the botany bunch. And look, we've got Warwick Pistols at dawn. I think they're going to be out there at dawn with their pistols if they don't get into the top 8.
Yeah. Maybe Fantastic. It's good and safe that we're all remote.
Absolutely.
It's competitive.
Yeah. So have we got any teams?
It really is. It's really tight, isn't it?
Yeah. Have we got any teams there to see, or should we do that after the next? Okay, yeah, because we're going to take a break after round 3. So we've got round 3 to come, and then there's a break. So before the break, we'll bring some teams on and get some reaction. I think that's only fair. So I think we're moving now to round 3. Chris.
Off we go with round 3. Just got a couple of teams still to join. And we're ready. So question 1. The flag of Granada contains a symbolic image of which plant? Is it A, cocoa, B, nutmeg, C, cardamom, or D, ginger? It's a little hard to, oh, there we go. That's great. I was going to say it was a bit small, felt a bit mean. You can see it there now. Cocoa, nutmeg, cardamom, or ginger. Couple of seconds left, 5 seconds. You can see those answers pouring in. Question 2. This famous botanical painting, and a very intricate one, is by which artist? Is it A, Sandro Botticelli, B, Peter Bruegel the Elder, C, Jan van Eyck, or D, Albrecht Dürer? Oh, lovely. We've got a magnification of it. So you can actually see what's in it, which is a lot, actually. I'm sure Honna's enjoying that illustration in particular with her interest in grassland ecology. Question 3, identify this crop plant, and in a moment we'll magnify it for you. Is it A, cardamom, B, turmeric, C, tonka bean, or D, vanilla? There you go, get a good look at that. Still got over 10 seconds left. I imagine some of you know what that is. Okay. Question 4. Which of the following are not varieties of cider apple? A, Slackmagirdle, B, improved hangdown, C, headbanger, or D, foxwhelp? Nice assortment of names there, and there's a magnification of the apple in question. A few seconds left. Which is not a variety of cider apple there? Question 5. Where in the world is the Jerusalem artichoke native? Is it A, North America, B, South America, C, Israel and the wider Middle East, or D, Africa? And here is a magnification to remind you of what the plant in question looks like. 5 seconds left, folks. On to question 6. Tamarind, which gives brown sauce its distinctive flavour, is in which plant family? Is it A, the Fabaceae, or Fabaceae, B, the Polygonaceae, C, the Rosaceae, or D, the Apiaceae? Don't get your ACs mixed up. And there's a magnification in case you didn't know what brown sauce looked like. A few seconds left. Which plant family? Question 7. Which crop is processed by fermenting in boxes like the one shown? And we'll magnify this in a moment. Is it A, tea, B, coffee, C, cocoa, or D, vanilla? There you go. So which of those crops is processed using boxes like these? A few seconds still. And on to question 8. Which Scottish botanist helped set up the US National Park System? Was it A, John MacDonald, B, James Muir, C, James MacDonald, or D, John Muir? Which Scottish botanist helped set up the US National Park System? Got just over 5 seconds left. And on to the next question. Question 9. The Madagascan rosy periwinkle was discovered to have compounds crucial to the treatment of which illness? Was it A, chronic toothache, B, scarlet fever, C, adult psoriasis, or D, childhood leukemia? And there's the lovely plant in question. Which illness? Couple of seconds. And finally, question 10. According to the Guinness Book of Records, which of these plants can grow at a rate of up to 3 centimeters per hour? A, watermeal, B, bamboo, C, Japanese knotweed, or D, floating pennywort? Is it watermeal, bamboo, Japanese knotweed, or floating pennywort? Answers flooding in. We've still got a few to come. 5 seconds left. Down to the wire. Okay. Jolly good. So I think we've got a few seconds whilst those answers are collated behind the scenes. I really enjoyed seeing that illustration, and it was like peering into another world, looking at that tiny little segment of grassland habitat with various wildflowers in there. And I actually had a closer look, and there are dandelions in fruit. There's greater plantains, leaves of yarrow, speedwells, and various grasses as well. It's
a pretensis.
Was it? Okay.
You can see it. It's so beautifully painted.
It's just so precise, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an absolute dream.
There's something about that painting that it really is like entering another world, because you look at it at first and it, you get a certain impression of it, and then you look more closely and you enter a different world. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
I thought you'd like it, Honor.
What a star. Yeah, I was a bit sad you got that question.
I know. No, it's wonderful. And even the broken ground at the base of the painting, you can see the roots have been painted.
Yeah. No, as somebody who sort of dabbles in trying to paint, the fact that he's got the depth and the perspective.
It was amazing. It's like a risotron at the bottom. Yeah, looking at the root systems. So
what a hero.
Yeah, very much so. Question is, who painted it? Oh, and so on to the answers without further ado. So the flag of Grenada contains a symbolic image of which plant? And it is B, the nutmeg. And I mean, it's quite a reduced image, isn't it? But I suppose the key there is in the form and the color in the center as well. So you could sort of work that out, I think, if you knew the plant in question. And everyone had a good go at answering that one. The next ones, this is the painting that we were just talking about, which is quite a tricky question, I think, because you'd perhaps have to know a little bit about the painting or the artists. But the answer was D, Albrecht Dürer, who illustrated this magnificent glimpse into a grassland habitat that Honor and I were just discussing. And question 3, this crop plant. I imagine lots of you got this one, because if you've seen the plant and you know anything about it, you'd know that it is vanilla and that it grows in that way. And that it also has very beautiful flowers, which I guess we chose not to put on there in case it became too obvious what vanilla actually is, because it's an orchid. We actually grow this where I work at Oxford Botanic Garden. It's festooned around the water lily pool in the glass houses. It's a wonderful thing. On to question 4. Which of the following are not varieties of cider apple? And I have to be honest that I didn't know the answer to this one before I was introduced to the question. So there we go. But the answer, I'm told, is C, headbanger. So there we go. Question 5. Where in the world is the Jerusalem artichoke native? And the answer is, in fact, North America. It is not C, in Israel and the wider Middle East, as the name might suggest, but it's in fact North America. A sunflower relative, as you probably guessed from if you didn't know already. Tamarind, which family? Well, it belongs to the Fabaceae or Leguminosae, which is the pea and bean family, a large family that includes many edible and medicinal plants and crops, faba beans, peas, beans, all that sort of thing. Question 7. And which crop is processed by fermenting in boxes like these? Another tricky one, I thought. The answer is cocoa. Another glimpse at that unusual process. And cocoa pods, I should say, if you didn't know, grow in an extraordinary way, sprouting directly out of the tree, a process called cauliflory. Question 8, we asked which Scottish botanist helped set up the US National Park System, and the answer was D, John Muir. And there are a sort of mixture of names there to keep you on your toes. And on to question 9, this botanical beauty, the Madagascan rosy periwinkle. Which of the diseases, the treatment of which illness are the compounds of this plant crucial to? And you may have known this. It's childhood leukemia. We have a potted plant of this where I work at Oxford Botanic Garden, and we often show this as an example of a very beautiful plant that is also very important to people and medicine. And finally, then question 10 was, in the Guinness Book of Records, which of these plants can grow up to an incredible rate of 3 centimeters per hour? And the answer is, in fact, bamboo, which is just astonishing, isn't it? You could almost see it with your very eyes. Amazing. So there we are. I think we've got a couple of teams about to join us and say hello as the scores come up.
Heavens.
Hello, guys. Oh, my goodness. Look at these.
Okay. Well, let's have some waves. And there's the scoreboard after round 3. Strong at the top, going all the way down. Good scores all the way down. Looking at that critical spot at number 8. A tiebreaker is looking not out of the question. Fantastic. Yeah. So some of our new teams, Warwick, Durham, RHS, really going for it there, as well as some teams that we've had before. So fantastic.
But again, all teams doing well. I mean, all of the scores are impressive. Yeah. And there are some difficult questions in there. Really good.
Yeah.
There were some amazing answers with some of the questions there. Just about everybody got right. Ones that I thought were really quite tricky. And,
they did really well on some of the ones that I thought, that's going to be hard.
Yeah. So can we perhaps have some reaction from the screen I'm looking at? I can't see, but I think we've got some teams. So if we can have some reactions, give us thumbs up, gives us how are you feeling about it so far? We're kind of halfway through. We might even have time to. We're heading into a break. Maybe
you're looking happy. They dropped 2 points in that round. That's the first points they've got wrong. that's pretty impressive, isn't it? 28 out of 30. There's no wonder they're smiling.
Absolutely amazing.
I did. I appreciated again the comments in the YouTube. There was someone who was really grateful that we had that magnification of the brown sauce, because that meant they immediately realised it was Fabaceae. Well, you would, wouldn't you? And
absolutely.
I thought that was an absolutely disgusting photo.
I thought, please don't zoom in on that one.
It was utterly revolting. And then there's a small group that are building who were really delighted to hear Chris utter the words "slack my girdle." I don't think they ever expected to hear that, but it was delightful.
I wasn't expecting to read it either.
You should have been. You've seen the questions and the preparation.
And everybody knew it was a cider apple, because that question, it was split a third, but nobody went for slack my girdle.
No, well, that's just, yeah.
I'm embarrassed
absolutely.
not to have known that one.
So are we able to get any microphones on and just get a few words from the teams just before we go into the break? That may be, I'm not sure if that works technically, but if it does, that would be nice just to get a couple of words how people are feeling in the teams. If not, we can perhaps try that after the break, perhaps before we go into the next round.
Hello.
Hi, who are we talking to? We're talking to George by the looks of it.
Yeah, we had an invitation to unmute. So.
Excellent. Well, delighted to see you.
You grabbed it.
Yeah, I've got a question for you. How did you lose 2 points?
It was the painting question.
Oh,
What?
Yeah.
that's difficult.
Oh, I can't remember now.
Can't remember now. Okay, well, awfully well done nonetheless. Try not to.
That's flower, the Asteraceae flower.
Yeah, the Jerusalem.
Oh, the Jerusalem artichoke. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're doing great guns. Try not to lose any more points. Great to see you. Great to see you. And George, as we said earlier, this is your third go, is it not? In 3 different institutions. That's a record, I think.
Third time lucky.
That sounds
Okay.
good. So it looks as though we're ahead of time. So we're going to actually carry on into round 4. Am I right? And then we'll take a break after the end of round 4. And maybe we can see some other teams before we go into the break. See how that goes. So round 4 is honour to chair. And I will mute and disappear. See you all soon.
Okay. So, round 4. Question 1. What is this plant? Is it Carex lepidocarpa? B. Trichophorum cespitosum? C. Carex remota? Or D. Carex echinata? Very handsome plant. Question 2. What is fynbos? Is it Scandinavian forest, East Asian tropical forest, South African heathland, or desert grassland? So is fynbos Scandinavian forest, East Asian tropical forest, or South African heathland, or desert grassland? Question 3. What's the botanical name for this leaf shape? Is it palmate? Is it hastate? Is it obcordate? Or D, arrowate? So A, palmate, B, hastate, C, obcordate, or D, arrowate? Getting short of time. Great. Question 4. What is a gynoecium? Is it a flower with a flower with an inferior ovary? B, a hairless organ? C, having female and bisexual plants? Or D, the group of female parts of a flower? Time ticking down. Well done. Question 5. What plant is this? Is it A, a Corsican primrose, B, a May apple, C, an African violet, or D, a mandrake? So Corsican primrose, May apple, African violet, or mandrake. Time nearly out. Question 6. Heterophyly is A, the occurrence of different leaf forms on the same plant. B, the occurrence of different leaf forms among different species. C, the organization of leaves in whorls around a node. Or D, the production of extrafloral nectaries. Question 7. What is this genus? Is it A, Ranunculus, B, Lysimachia, C, Hypericum, or D, Magnolia? So Ranunculus, Lysimachia, Hypericum, or Magnolia. Question 8. What is anthesis? Is it A, the side away from the plant axis, B, pollen shedding time, C, a natural biological rhythm, or D, flower opening time? Question 9. Can you identify this plant? Is it A, Ranunculus bulbosus, B, Ranunculus repens, C, Ranunculus arvensis, or D, Ranunculus sarduus? Bulbosus, repens, arvensis, or sarduus? Time out, just about. And the final question, what genus is this? Is it A, Strelitzia, B, Musa, C, Zingiber, Heliconia? Strelitzia, Musa, Zingiber, or Heliconia? And that's nearly the end of this round. So thank you very much. So that we've got a little linking pause and more time for more reflections. And I've got a picture on my mobile phone which shows, it's a really nice picture. It's got lots of tropical, it's a really luscious bit of rainforest with lots of leaves and drip tips and perforated leaves and lianas and whatever. So it's really nice to look at. And I got into showing this to people and asking them what they see. I'm sad to say that even a lot of botanists are really, really pleased after looking carefully at the picture. They're absolutely delighted to find right up in the top left-hand corner, half hidden by a leaf, sort of part of the body of a small passerine bird, sort of brownish and very small. So, you know, this is a problem. If even a whole load of plant people just see vegetation as some kind of wallpaper, we've got a lot to work on here. So plant blindness is definitely something that's holding back our appreciation. Okay, so time to run through the answers. So what is this plant? This is Carex echinata, the star sedge. And this is a species that sadly I don't see very much at the moment because I work mostly in high pH habitats. So it's a shame. So what is fynbos? It's, of course, South African heathland, as everybody got right. And it's a Mediterranean type of habitat with a sort of wet or moister winter. And that's where our beloved rooibos tea comes from. And sadly, the enthusiasm for this red bush tea means that quite a lot of the fynbos habitats are getting destroyed for cultivation of rooibos. Quite a shame. So what's the botanical name for this leaf? And as most of you got right, it's hastate. I don't think it looks like a spear. I think it looks like a halberd, but that's maybe being a bit nitpicky. So hastate. What is a gynoecium? The group of female parts of a flower, which most of you got right. So what plant is this? It's the mandrake, which is an absolutely amazing plant. It's sort of basically the stem goes straight into the root, or the upper part of the plant goes straight into the root without anything in between, with no stem. And this is a plant that's sort of full of magic and myth. It's stuffed full of alkaloids, so it was used in folk medicine and for poisoning people and all kinds of other cheery applications. But because it's so magic and the root looks like a human body, then you had to be very careful if you were harvesting it for your magic purposes, because the root or the plant screams loudly when you pull it up, and anybody who hears that scream immediately dies. So it was necessary to hitch a dog to the root and then retreat to a safe distance and let the dog pull up the root and hear the scream and die. So it's a fairly amusing plant, this one. So mandrake. Heterophylle. Yep, most got that. And it's the sort of thing that you see where you've got leaves, different types of leaf on the same plant. And quite often you see that the leaves at the bottom of the plant are the bush or the tree, for example, are not the same as the ones at the top. So you can see that in holly and in ivy. And the explanation, or at least the suggested explanation for the prickly leaves at the base of holly and the smooth leaves at the top, is that the prickly leaves deter grazing animals at the bottom of the tree, but you don't need to invest in prickles at the top. What genus? Hypericum. Little telltale black glands there. And Hypericum, not this one, but Hypericum maculatum is much used in Sweden for flavouring spirits, and it gives the spirit a very, very beautiful bright red colour. So it's the buds that are used for that purpose. Anthesis. It's flower opening time, and I have huge sympathy with the people who went for pollen shedding time, because I think I must have got through considerably more than half my life thinking that anthesis was pollen shedding time. So yeah, sympathy there. A nice buttercup, which, congratulations, most of you got, or majority got that right. If you were trying to think whether it's not Sarduus or Arvensis with the leaf shape like that, but if you were trying to separate bulbosus and repens, you'd have to look at the leaf a bit more carefully. But the thing that shows that it is actually repens, not bulbosus, is the sepals. Whereas in ranunculus bulbosus, they're bent back, and so they look like little kind of mini samosas. So it's a very clear character to separate the two species. Their leaves are similar. What genus? The gorgeous Strelitzia. Well, working on these questions earlier, I learned that this is actually an invasive species in, I think, Australia, I was told. So that's kind of amazing. The bird of paradise plant.
Okay, that's great. Thanks, Honor, for that. And that was a great round. Some very high scoring there. Heavens, here we go. Here is the leaderboard. Great scores all the way through. Cambridge still at the top. Manchester, Sutton Bonington, OU, Manchester, RHS still strong. Durham, Warwick, newcomers, and then Eden still strong. Reading close to that magic 8. York, there's lots of closeness going on all the way down there. Fantastic. Just before we talk to some of the teams, I was noticing on the chat someone was saying how many rounds are there. I don't think we explained to the audience on YouTube. We've got 6 rounds, or if we did, maybe not clearly. We've got 6 rounds of 10 questions. So we've done 4 rounds. We've got 2 more to come. If there's a tie for that 8th place, and looking at these scores, it's not impossible, we will have a tiebreaker round. We'll wait and see. But I think we've got some teams on. So let's have some waves and some thumbs up or whatever's going on, and maybe we can have a word with 1 or 2 of the teams. So maybe add chairs and John. Let's talk to some of the teams.
Hi everyone. We're kind of really proud of our of our results so far, and we have a team member from South Africa who's been really valuable for those related questions. So
fantastic, absolutely stunning. Yeah, really good. I was amazed to see that when we were looking at the contacts for the teams that we had a player actually in South Africa at the moment. So fantastic. It's good to see. I mean, one of our ambitions is to spread the Botanical University Challenge internationally. So it's great to see these threads happening. So well done. Yes, you're looking pretty strong. And I can't remember when OU last competed. Maybe it was last year. Apologies if it was. But anyway, it's good to see you back.
Yeah, thank you. Good to be here.
Wisley. Hello, Wisley. Let's hear from you. So RHS Wisley for the first time, Botanical University Challenge 2022. Let's have a few words from you. How are you feeling?
Hello. Yeah, we're really enjoying it. We're really enjoying it.
Excellent. Great to see the T-shirts there. The Botanical University Challenge T-shirts designed by our very own Mika, one of our zoology students. So a round of applause for a beautiful design, very attractive, and a great team. RHS, welcome for the first time. So we're so glad that you've got here. And in fact, I think was it the selfie of the T-shirt, the first T-shirt that arrived in your team? Is that right? I believe so. Anyway, give us some more. Just give us a little bit more commentary about how it's going. What was the worst question? What was the best question?
Oh. I mean, there's been a few lucky guesses.
Have there? Well, okay. Well, we'll modify your score then.
But yeah, no, we're here in the old. We're in the lab here at Wisley, which is, how old is it? Like over 100 years old, and it was purpose-built as a school of horticulture and plant science, and recently been renovated. So
yes. Yeah, well, my colleague Alistair Cullum, he's on the planning team here, and he's a regular down at RHS, so he'll be putting some comments in on the YouTube chat at this point, I have no doubt. So great to see you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good luck in the
I
last
don't
two
know if
rounds.
it's possible to speak to Eden, but they've done incredibly, haven't they, going from the bottom to just outside the top 8. So it shows it's still all to play for when you can go from sort of looking like you're out of it to being in the top sort of qualifiers.
Absolutely, totally agree.
Really tight.
If we can't get them on now, we'll get them on in a bit. Maybe a few comments after the break before we kick off. We'll see. Do we have any more teams there? Sutton Bonington.
Hi.
Rambling Brambles. If that's not a contender for a top team name, I don't know what is. John, do you want to have a chat with Sutton Bonington?
Yeah, how are they doing? They're up there sort of in equal second place, aren't they?
Certainly are.
Yeah, if you're feeling confident now that you're going to sort of stay in the top 8.
Yeah. We'll try.
Yeah, you're not dropping many points, are you?
No, although
And even the top slots within sort of striking distance.
I wrote a whole essay on citrus fruits once, and then I completely blanked on the word Hesperidium. I'm like,
Yeah, I sympathise on that one. I was struggling.
Yeah, that I have to say that question made me smile as well. I was quite happy to include that question in. I think it was from Alistair Callum, that one. But great, yes, Sutton Bonington. I know you're a proud Sutton Bonington team. We've had you on before, and great to see you doing well here. Fantastic.
thank you. It's great to be here.
I believe so. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think I don't think we're going to take a break now. I'm looking at the time. We had scheduled to reconvene at 4. Absolutely. We're going to take a nice break now. So you've got time to have a cup of tea or even more if you wish. We're going to break till 4 o'clock because that's our schedule. That means there'll be a bit of nail biting for the teams. We've got 2 more rounds and then a tie break round if we have a tie for the 8th position, which is looking certainly a statistical possibility. So we're going to take a break now. Thank you all so much, teams, team supporters and audience. I'll do a check on the audience numbers. We've got nearly 200 watching on YouTube. And as I'll just remind you, we will have a video of this coming later, but do stick with this because there's nothing like watching it live. So we're going to take a break now, and we'll see you back here again at 4 o'clock. Thank you very much. Yeah. Don't do that. Do you want to do it here? Or I mean, all I'm saying is, does anyone have any comments?
No probs. Seb, just calm down. Come on.
No
Overexcited. That caffeinated break you just had. I've just had 2 cups of tea and now I've poured a massive glass of Coke, so I'm highly caffeinated now.
Be bouncing around the screen.
Can people hear me telling everyone this, Seb? Can everyone hear?
Seb, just calm down. Come on. Welcome back to Botanical University Challenge 2022. We've had 4 exciting rounds. We're seeing the leaderboard shifting and shuffling. We've got 18 amazing teams, plantastic teams even, who are competing for the top 8 scorers to go through to next week's finals. Just to remind you, today we have 6 rounds. We've had 4 rounds so far. We've got 2 to come. I think our 18 teams are ready. Chair Chris Thorogood is ready, so we're going to move now, without further ado, into round 5.
And we are indeed. So welcome back, everybody, and welcome to round 5. And without further ado, I think we're going to go into the first question, which is question 1. What is the botanical term for these sharp structures? Is it A, spines?
5.
And we are B, indeed. Needles, C, thorns, or D, prickles? Are these sharp structures that you can see magnified there, are they spines, needles, thorns, or prickles? A few seconds left. Time's nearly up. On to the next question. Question 2. What a lovely question it is. Parasitaxis uster is a parasitic conifer, but where in the world is it from originally? Is it from A, Borneo, B, Papua New Guinea, C, New Caledonia, or D, the Galapagos Islands? So Parasitaxis uster, the world's only known parasitic conifer. Isn't it magnificent? Is it native to Borneo, New Guinea, New Caledonia, or the Galapagos Islands? I'll be impressed if people know the answer to that one. That's quite tricky. Question 3. What is the botanical name for this structure? Is it A, spathe, B, a stylopodium, C, a sepal, or D, a stipule? There it is, enlarged. Spathe, stylopodium, sepal, or stipule. A few seconds left. On to question 4. Which of the following ferns, commonly found growing on walls, does not have lobed leaves? Is it A, Asplenium rutimuraria, B, Asplenium ceterac, C, Asplenium scolopendrium, or D, Asplenium adantium nigrum or nigrum? Which of the aspleniums listed does not have lobed leaves? A few seconds remaining. 3, 2, 1. Question 5. What is this pavement plant, which we'll magnify in a second? Is it A, Bryum alpinum, B, Bryum argentium, C, Bryum capillare, or D, Bryum pallescens? There it is. Much magnified. Quite familiar. What is it? Question 6. Which species of grass is most abundant in National Vegetation Classification, NVC, grassland type MG1? Is it A, false oat grass, Arenatherum elatius, B, common couch, Elymus repens, C, wavy hair grass, Avenella flexuosa, or D, mat grass, Nardus stricta? I don't have time to read all those again, but which of the grass species is most abundant in that grassland type? Question 7. What is in this image? And we'll certainly need to magnify this one for you. Is it A, equisetum spores, B, liverwort spores, C, ginkgo gametophytes, or D, pine pollen? This feels like an undergraduate practical or exam. What are we looking at there? Couple of seconds left. Question 8. According to the BSBI online atlas, which one of the following species occurs in fewer than 10 by 10 kilometer grid squares in Britain? So which one is restricted to that area? Is it A, Myosotis alpestris, the alpine forget-me-not, B, Gentianella germanica, the Chiltern gentian, C, Himantoglossum hircinum or hircinum, the lizard orchid, or D, Cecleria albicans, blue moorgrass? Rapid flux of answers right down to the wire there. Question 9. Spines in cacti and the succulent euphorbia serve the same function, but they have a different evolutionary origin. This phenomenon is termed A, homologous, B, paralogous, C, tautologous, or D, aporeus. There's a magnification of a euphorbia and showing its spiny structures, but what is the name of the phenomenon described? And finally, question 10. Oh my goodness. Which of the following is the correct floral formula for this floral diagram? I need the time to read them. Is it A, symbol K, parentheses 5, C, parentheses 5, A, parentheses 5, G, 5? Forgive me not saying them all in full. Is it B, K5, C5, A5, G5, C, K5, C5, A5, G5, or D, is it K5 and then in brackets C parentheses 5, A5, G parentheses 5? I think it's easier for you to read them than for me to read them. A nice complicated one to end on. But very University Challenge-esque, I feel. It reminds me of doing electron outer shells for some reason. We can all remember that far back.
Yes, that was
1s2, 2s2, 2p6, something like that.
Yeah, that was a tester for sure. Sorry to nip in here. I have a feeling that round is going to be a bit of a decider. There was some toughies in there.
There were some really tough ones. Tough for me to read, Jonathan, let alone to...
Yeah, that last one. I mean, they all answered. They all answered in time. I was impressed.
I like a tough question. I thought that was good.
Yeah. Well, we'll hopefully get a few teams in after the answers have come in and see how they're going. Hi, Hannah.
Hiya.
What did you make of that round, Donna?
There
were some scary ones there. There were some scary ones there. Floral formulae.
Ooh.
That was a long time ago.
Okay, so guys, on to the answers. Question 1, what is the botanical term for these sharp structures? Is in fact prickles. So prickles are of epidermal origin, whereas a thorn is a modified shoot. A spine is a modified leaf or a stipule, the bit that you get next to a sort of leaf stalk. And therefore, a rose between two thorns is an inaccurate saying, botanically speaking. So that was quite a tough one to begin with, I feel. Next question. Oh my goodness, I'm so pleased to see Parasitaxis feature. And it actually comes from New Caledonia, a place where I'd never been, but I would love to go. And here is a plant that isn't in cultivation, to my knowledge, but that's where it's from. A parasitic gymnosperm that has a strange process of stealing its food from other gymnosperms that is a sort of botanical chimera between haustorial parasitism and mycoheterotrophy for the keen parasitic plant biologists among us. Oh my goodness, another, I'm loving these questions. So this is of course a spathe. I imagine many of you got that right, because what we're looking at here is a member of the Aeraceae, the arum family. It looks like Arisarum vulgare to me, a winter flowering Mediterranean geophyte. And these are classic examples of trap pollinators. So many examples in this family trap their insect pollinators overnight to affect pollination. The next one, so I enjoy seeing this one because I'm looking at it out my window as we speak. Which of the following ferns commonly found growing on walls, but actually lots of places on woodland banks and roadsides as well, does not have lobed leaves? And it's the hart's tongue fern, Asplenium scleropendrium, quite a common and very beautiful fern with a touch of the exotic to it, I always feel, but native nevertheless. Next question, please. What is this pavement plant? It's Bryum argenteum, the silver green Bryum. So it's the one that forms those, I must admit, I don't think that's the best photo of it, but it forms these little silvery grey mounds, and it's very common sort of urban moss. Hopefully some of you got that. Which of these grasses is the one that is most abundant in the said type of grassland, and it's the false oat grass, Arenatherum elatius. So very widespread across lowland grass communities in this part of the world. Nevertheless, quite a technical question, I feel, which takes us on to the next one. They're getting harder and harder, I feel. And so the answer is Equisetum spores. As I say, this is the sort of thing that comes up in undergraduate practicals, examining different groups of plants under the microscope. So hopefully people will have remembered looking at those at some point in their botanical careers to date. next one. So this was the rare one that occurs in very few places, and the answer is the alpine forget-me-not. A test here of people's knowledge of the British and Irish flora.
I thought. Sorry to interrupt. I thought
Please.
the clue was in the alpine, but maybe not.
Yes, maybe. I mean, I suppose,
but obviously not actually looking at the spread of nose.
Maybe. Nevertheless, that is the answer. So, as I say, they're getting trickier. This one, perhaps, maybe it's because I'm an evolutionary biologist, didn't seem quite so tricky. But cacti and succulent euphorbias, classic example of convergent evolution. But here we're talking about the same thing but has a different evolutionary origin. And because it's different, it's not homologous, it's therefore paralogous. So, and there's a nice close-up of it. And then I think the last question was the killer. It's this one. And then the answer was that the stamens here, as you can see, the little clusters are fused to the corolla. So this is a primulaceae thing, an anagalis or something like that, Lysomachia, something like that. And you can see that the stamens are definitely fused to the corolla. So that shows us that it's that last example there. So this is a sort of notion of representation of floral structure that you can convey succinctly, even if I wasn't able to read it quickly. So well done to all of you who were able to work that out in the time. So there we are. So I think we'll give people a moment or two to...
Yeah, we'll see if we can get some teams on. I mean, I'm particularly impressed with the answers to that last question, because that was a toughie. And yeah, okay, quite a few tricked by it, but a decent 50% got it. That's marvelous. Some great answers there, and showing a great level of knowledge.
72% got the parasitic conifer.
Did they really? Oh, I'm so pleased.
72% got the parasitic conifer. That was mind-blowing. I was feeling really guilty. That question's too hard.
I know. I'm so pleased.
And they nearly all did.
Gosh, that's really impressive.
No, and there's the leaderboard.
I hope the Under the Amberella team got that one right, given that plant hails from the same part of the world.
Yeah, I mean, things are hotting up. Look at that.
Look at this.
Look at that. We've got 30s, 31s, 33, 29 all around that crucial position 8. So really this next round is going to be key. Can we bring on any teams just for some reaction?
Can I suggest that they Google equisetum spores on and have a look at a video of them moving around, because only 17% of them got the equisetum spores.
Yeah.
And once you've seen them dancing, you'll never forget.
It's worth looking on YouTube, because there is a YouTube video which is set to the music from 2001: A Space Odyssey, the Strauss Waltz, the Blue Danube, and it's amazing because they do move, and they've set it. They set the video, and it's really impressive. I would Google that YouTube video of equisetum spores and the Strauss Waltz. Super. Okay, welcome teams. At this point, we're just moving into the final round, unless we get a tiebreaker. How's it going? Give us some thumbs up. Give us some faces that show us how you're feeling at the moment.
I think I can say we're all feeling extremely stressed now because we managed to suddenly jump up to 8. Oh goodness!
Absolutely, you're right on the cusp there. Yeah. You're absolutely on the cusp.
Yeah.
Edge Hill, how's it going for you? You've been with us since 2016. Great stalwarts of Botanical University Challenge. How's today going?
I've been bouncing around a bit, but yeah. Not looking good.
Are you in the lab or the kitchen there? I hope you've got some beers hidden away. You can have a little cheer. But I have to say, that is the most wonderful display of Botanical University Challenge T-shirts I've seen. So well done.
At least we're representing.
Proud team from Edge Hill. We're delighted to have you here. We absolutely are.
Thank you.
All the best. All the best. MMU, last year's champions. How are you doing this year? You're up there.
Not quite so well. Yeah, I think the 2 or 3 points that we dropped in the first round due to technical issues might be a bit critical here.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think the main thing here is to stay in that top 8, and then that all will be forgiven by next week.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
I think this is the first time UOM has done the challenge.
I believe so.
Yeah, we thought maybe in second place we would come after Cambridge and take the top spot. We're in third at the moment, but Cambridge, we're still coming for you.
You're on your way. You're on your way down to them. They're absolutely fantastic. No, it's so joyful to see that, and brilliant scores up there. Yeah, I mean, you're looking pretty solid. I'm crossing my fingers we're going to see you next week.
Yeah, hopefully. If there are less floral formulas, we'll definitely be there.
I asked for a floral formula from my colleague Alistair Cullivan. He delivered.
I knew that was Alistair.
Did you slip up on that one?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Never seen that in my life.
But I mean, with a multiple choice, you do have a bit of you obviously have a chance. But yeah, it's those few statements that what done it. Anyway, well done. And
the biggest group of answers was the right answer. There were nearly half the teams got that right.
Yeah, no, I was impressed.
Not us.
Yeah, well, no matter. You got other stuff.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Can I do an intro? Okay. Okay, so this brings us to round 6. And round 6 is chair's choice. So these questions have been set by our chairs, and therefore they will be presented alternately by the author of the questions. So this is a chance for the chairs to test our wonderful teams of botanists with topics that interest them. So all the best for round 6. If we have no tie for the 8th position, this will be the final round. If we get a tie for 8th position, there will be a tiebreaker. This could be the last round. Do your best, everybody, and Honor, please take it away. Thank you.
Actually, I think it's Chris who's taking it away.
It's me, isn't it?
Yep.
What I meant to say was, Chris, take it away.
Thank you. Thanks, Jonathan. Good luck, everyone. Question 1. Which of these statements about Hydnora africana, which you can see in the picture there, is true? A, it feeds on insects. B, it feeds from the roots of other plants. C, it's a fungus closely related to truffles. Or D, it's native to South America. Got a good look at it there. Very strange it is too. Time's nearly up.
So question 2, which is the odd one out in this list? A, Coriandrum sativum. B, Cuminum cyminum. C, Vanilla planifolia. Or D, Capsicum annuum. So Coriandrum, Cuminum, Vanilla, or Capsicum. time nearly out.
Question 3. The traveller's palm disseminule is blue, a very vibrant shade of blue. But what's it dispersed by? Is it A, the ii? Is it B, by chameleons, C, lemurs, or D, blue koas? It's an incredible shade of blue, but what is it that disperses the traveller's palm seed? Time's up.
Question 4. What is a turion? Is it a bud that can develop into a new plant, an accumulation of silica within a leaf cell, C, an annual plant that germinates in the autumn, or D, a membrane dividing the segments in a seed pod? So turion, is it a bud? Is it an accumulation of silica, an annual plant that germinates in the autumn, or a membrane dividing the seed pod?
Question 5. Which of the following statements about Titan arum, Amorphophallus titanum, is true? A, it is the largest flower on Earth. B, it is the smelliest plant on Earth. C, it only flowers every few years. Or D, it has never been seen to flower in cultivation. Few seconds left on the Titan arum, and time's up.
Question 6. What are shaddocks, kumquats, autoniques, and uglies? Are they citrus fruits? Are they chilies? Are they potatoes? Or are they plums? So shaddocks, kumquats, and autoniques, and uglies, citrus, chili, potato, or plum.
Sounds like a poem, Honor.
Yeah.
Question 7, which I did not write. This is not a shameless plug. I did not write this. Which of these books was not authored by Chris Thorogood? Was it A, Weird Plants, B, What Have Plants Ever Done for Us, C, When Plants Took Over the World, or D, The Botany of Gin? Goodness me. Time's up.
Question 8. What do Hippeastrum, Galanthus, Narcissus, and Allium all have in common? A, they are houseplants. B, they have yellow flowers. C, they are annuals. Or D, they have bulbs. So what do Hippeastrum, Galanthus, Narcissus, and Allium all have in common?
Question 9. How does this plant obtain water and nutrients? Is it A, an epiphyte on forest trees? B, is it saprophytic, living on dead organic matter? Is it C, an obligate halophyte? Or is it D, parasitic on other plants? And there it is. We're talking about the purplish one in the foreground. Thank you, Hannah. time's up.
Question 10, and final question of the ordinary rounds. Barbara McClintock received the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 1983 for her discovery of mobile genetic elements in plants. What was her experimental subject? Was it A, barley, B, wheat, C, maize, or D, oats? Barley, wheat, maize, or oats? Right, finishing now. Ooh, that's an exciting round. It was quite fun having two chairs. Yeah, but I had to resist the temptation to start
Carry
joking.
on reading.
Yeah.
I nearly read out some of yours on there.
Well, yeah, we can share. Yeah.
So I think we're just waiting, aren't we? A couple of minutes for that to be compiled.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And it's definitely getting twitchy now.
I know. I'm quite excited to see the score. So I don't know how the teams must be feeling. Which do you think was the hardest one there? Oh, we're going straight into.
Oh, we're going straight into it.
All right. Okay. So question 1, this botanical curiosity. The answer is that it feeds from the roots of other plants. It's a hollow parasite, meaning it has no chlorophyll or leaves or roots. In fact, it steals everything from the roots of euphorbias, in this case, that we saw earlier. Meet Hydnora.
So, which is the odd one out? Most of you got that one. So we've got coriander, we've got cumin, we've got vanilla, and we've got chilies or peppers. So the coriander, cumin, and chilies or peppers are all part of Indian or Eastern curry cuisine, whereas vanilla is commonly used in sweeter dishes.
The traveller's palm, disseminule, a bright blue colour, but what's it dispersed by? It's dispersed by lemurs. So this grows on the island of Madagascar, where birds that might distribute the relatives of this, the Strelitzia that we saw earlier with red fringed seeds, are plentiful, but on Madagascar birds are few and lemurs are more plentiful, and lemurs see better in this part of the colour spectrum, green and blue. So it's dispersed by lemurs.
So what is a turion? It's a bud that can develop into a new plant, and this is the sort of thing that a lot of water plants do, that they shed off little buds that sink down to the bottom and then overwinter in the mud and then float up to the surface or start to sprout again from the bottom. It's also found in willow herbs, epilobium. Some species there do turions at the base.
Nice question. Which of the, I'm just getting some feedback. Sorry, which of the following statements about Titanarum is true? It's not the largest flower on Earth. That is Rafflesia. This is an inflorescence, as many of you will know, I'm sure. The smelliest plant on Earth, well, it does smell horrible, but I suppose that's quite subjective and rather difficult to measure. And there are a few contenders for that prize, but it certainly only flowers every few years. It takes a huge reproductive effort to produce something like this. So of all the statements, the one that is most true would be that one. And certainly it does flower in cultivation, as you probably know.
So what are shaddocks, kumquats, autoniques, and uglies or uglies? They're citrus fruits, and just about everybody knew that. So no problems there. I'm dying to know the answer to this one. Okay. Now I know.
So I didn't write B. I think that was Stephen Harris, I believe, wasn't it? Thank you for this shameless plug.
My pleasure. I will say I did write that question.
I thought you did. So it definitely wasn't me.
So Hippeastrum, galanthus, narcissus, and allium. What have they got in common? They have bulbs, and everybody got that. So
Good.
Brilliant.
How does this plant obtain water and nutrients? This is another parasitic plant. It's stealing its food from the plant that you can see in the background, so haloxylon or something, a desert saltwort.
That was a bit of a revealer when you said the one in the foreground.
Probably gave it away. Well, it could have been a mycoheterotroph, I suppose, or that wasn't actually on the list, was it? Did everyone get it right? I can't see.
No, 61% got it right. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. So it's a hollow parasite, this one. Parasitic on other plants.
Okay, the final question, Barbara McClintock. She discovered transposable elements in plants. And the sad thing is that when she actually started to publish and talk about her results, people either ridiculed them or totally ignored them. And fortunately, she was a stubborn type and she just kept on doing what she knew was a really interesting, or exploring a really interesting area. And so for once, there's some kind of justice that she got the Nobel Prize for her amazing discovery. And she worked on maize.
So I think before we do the final questions, we're going to have some teams appear now. So John is going to appear shortly. You can see the teams appearing now.
This is really tough on the teams now, asking them what they're thinking before we reveal the final scores. They must be really sort of feeling the pressure. Anybody feeling confident? Yeah, Edinburgh. You confident? You in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we'll make the top 8, but we've had a nice time, so that's what counts.
Excellent. Yeah, it's been a great.
Brilliant.
That last round, there were some tough questions, and just about everybody got most of them right. I think there were just 2 questions that people seemed to struggle on. And Chris was one of them. Where's Aberdeen? There we are.
Hi. Hi.
How are you feeling? How was the storm?
It was. Our goal was to beat Edinburgh. We're not sure, but
That's all that matters if you beat Edinburgh. Yeah? You're going to beat Edinburgh? I can't remember where you were.
We'll see. It's going to be very close. Yeah.
There's the Durham team.
Yeah, hi Durham. It's nice to be able to locate you on the screen now. Everything's sort of whizzing around a bit. So, are you surviving? You're muted, I think. Durham, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Hi.
Hello.
Are you surviving?
Yes.
Yeah,
hang on.
That
Good.
was one goal coming into this, was to make it through to the second round. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, go for it.
Feeling good.
Galway, do we have our ginkgos? Galway ginkgos.
Hi.
Hi guys. How are you getting on?
Not too bad now. Enjoying it.
How are you feeling? Confident?
Not really, no.
Oh.
Maybe
impressed. Have you enjoyed yourselves?
Yeah, it's been great fun.
Fantastic.
Where's Liverpool? Where's Lancaster?
Hello.
Over to Hattie. Right
Hi,
then,
John.
Hattie,
How
what
are
do
you?
think? Yeah, good.
Good. Good to see you.
Yeah, you're going to make it through? How do you get on in that last round, do you think? The chances for high scores, there were lots of teams getting lots of right answers.
Yeah, yeah, excited
Whether
to see
that means
the
everybody
scores.
moves up in parallel or...
Yeah, I've no idea. We were 9th in the previous school, so yeah, in the previous ranking.
Well, the pressure's really on, so yeah, and there was only
Yeah.
a mark or two in it.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed for you.
Well, I can't actually see.
Any more details?
We're told there was an interesting spread of scores in the last
Yeah.
round.
We're looking forward to seeing that interesting spread.
Yes.
Are you going to, yes, are you going to do final leaderboard, and then I have a couple of screens to show in a bit.
Oh.
We're about to see the results, folks.
Yeah.
This is in real time.
We've got a drum roll ready.
Here it is. Here it is. Round of applause. So, Cambridge, Manchester, Sutton Bonington, Liverpool, OU, Durham, Manchester Met, RHS are through to next week. Commiserations, but fantastic work from Lancaster, Eden, Warwick, Galway, York,
So
Plymouth,
close.
Reading, Edinburgh, Aberdeen, Edge Hill. Wonderful comments from everyone.
Well done, everyone. Very
That's-
impressive.
Yeah.
set of scores.
It is very
Shows
impressive.
how tough it was, how Reading have won it so many times in the past, are way down there.
Well, you say way down. I would disagree with that. Look, we've got all those
Well,
in
yeah,
the 30s.
you're right. I mean, you look at the spread of marks and there's not a lot in it. I mean,
There's
that's
30,
what comes out
39
of
down
a
to
book
30, 26. It's
year
great
after
scores.
year. They just do amazingly.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not in a team. I'd be down below Edge Hill. I just don't see how they get so many marks.
Yeah, well, I'm with you, John.
And we've just missed a tiebreaker for position 8. We have clear 8 teams that will go through to next week. And as I say, commiserations to those below. I think from the comments we've been hearing, everyone has had a good time. How can you not have a good time when plants are the focus? But equally, our teams and our audience are the focus, and our fantastic chairs. We'll be doing some votes of thanks in a bit. So yeah, there it is, the final score. I don't know whether we have any chance to look at the teams. We've just spoken to teams, haven't we? So I suspect now, yeah. So Reading have just sent congratulations to the top 8 from Team Reading. So well done,
Stylish
Team
comment.
Reading. Well done, my team from Reading, and
Well done, everyone.
the others.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would like that, yes. So do you want me to carry on? Would you like me to share my screen? I'm going to share, no, I'm going to start with the other way round. I'm just hoping that I've got this right.
Who won the battle north of the border with Aberdeen and Edinburgh? Well done to Edinburgh. Hard luck, Aberdeen.
Yeah, I'm struggling to share my screen. Sorry about this. It's very difficult when
Big
you've got...
commiserations to Patty and the Lancaster Seed Bombers. They were just missed out in 9th. They stayed in that 9th position, didn't they?
Okay, are we seeing that? Okay, so I'm sure we'd all like to join, and we can all have some commentary for our wonderful 10 runners-up. As I've said, you're all plant champions for being here. It's been fantastic competition. It really has. It's been so exciting. As I said before, in terms of prizes, you all get Field Studies Council identification sheets. Those will be winging their way to you. You have the T-shirt, which you can wear with pride forever. And of course, we very much hope, and the record shows, that most teams that enter Botanical University Challenge enter again. And so we would love to see all of you next year. I don't see why we can't exceed 18 teams easily next year. So I don't know if any others have comments for our 10 wonderful runners-up.
I mean, I'm just
I think, as you said earlier, Jonathan, just look at those marks. It was so tight. The teams have just so incredibly well on sort of really difficult questions. I mean, I struggled to answer my own questions and just couldn't answer some of the others. I just don't know how they managed to sort of time and time again, the teams were nearly all getting them right.
I was going to say something similar, John. I think we've really tested the guys today with some really challenging questions. Some of them are really quite difficult. And I'm so impressed by the scores that have come back. Everyone's done incredibly well.
Yeah, I think we might even revisit. Sorry, Anna.
When we got the questions, I certainly had to quickly do a little bit of revision to check up on stuff. But things like the floral formula. Oh.
I did remember the Hesperidium. I think that's been drilled into my brain.
Yeah, that was quite deeply buried. I had to.
Yeah, you never
for quite
forget
a while.
that.
Yeah, but it was quite far down. Something you think every day.
Yeah, yeah.
You could have eaten an orange in a rowing boat.
Yeah,
that's
lovely.
True.
Yes, yeah, we discussed that when we did the run through, the dummy run through. I remember. Yes, if it's lying in the rowing boat, it's actually technically in the rowing boat, but commonly you find it in the supermarket compared to those others. There's not too many rowing boats filled with oranges, I hope. Delightful. Okay, so thank you again to our 10 runners-up, and we'll see you again next year, and I'm hoping we'll be able to have all the teams on screen at the end. So let's move on. No, I haven't finished yet. So we now need to celebrate our 8 top scoring teams. We're going to see you here next week. Same time, same place, different format. We will be publishing the running order very soon, certainly by the end of the week. So you'll be playing in pairs in the quarterfinals, and then the winners of the quarterfinals go through to the semis and through to the finals. We have 3 new chairs for you. We have Sandy Knapp, President of the Linnean Society. We have Lena Strew from Rutgers, USA, and we have Raj Whitlock from Liverpool, UK. So we've got 3 new chairs to deal with the complexities of quarter, semi, and finals. So really well done, hard fought, and everything to play for next year, including next week, including signed copies of Green Planet, Sir David Attenborough signing copies for prizes, as well as more Field Studies Council ID sheets, and we have some book tokens as well. So there's lots to play for, but it's basically plants centre stage, and our wonderful plant aware students. So congratulations to the 8, and comments from the chairs.
Yeah, we've said just about everything. Yeah. Brilliant. Congratulations. Yes. And I'm really looking forward to sitting on the sideline and hoping that the YouTube streaming works so that I can follow all the details of next week's performance. Good luck, everybody.
Yeah, likewise. Well done. Well done, everyone, and good luck. Best of luck.
Yeah, the YouTube commentary is I'm just checking that. I think they've got the results. It's difficult to plan it for the live group here and for YouTube, but we have these 8 teams, and what strikes me is we've got some of the newcomers going straight through. Durham RHS and Manchester, as well as some previous contenders, Cambridge, MMU, and so on. So congratulations to the 8, and rounds of applause from us all. Yeah, I will just, yes, absolutely. Thank you. We've had a great team, and I'd like to say a few words, and I'm sure John as well. So this year we've learned in Botanical University Challenge from our previous years, particularly from last year when we were forced online by COVID, and we've formed a team with some members who've been with us for a while, like Colin Clubb. I remember Colin Clubb from Kew giving the opening address in 2016 at Kew itself. Alistair Fitter joined us last year as one of the chairs. Colin and Alistair were the chairs, and then other colleagues in the planning team. So there's myself there. Muriel Jones has been an absolute stalwart on the social media particularly, but on every aspect. Muriel has been there to check that we've got the timetable sorted, that we don't overlook things. It's been an absolute joy to have Muriel there, but particularly recently on the social media side, it's been fantastic. John, of course, was with me right at the beginning, 2016, when we set this whole thing going, and I don't think, I'm sure he'll say something in a moment, but I don't think we felt, we kind of knew where it was going, and we didn't quite know that we would get now to the situation with 18 teams and all look set fair to just getting bigger and bigger. And actually, in terms of our influence and support for plant-aware students, I think this is something which we're developing. Alistair Cullum from Reading has been part of the team, in fact, that have set the questions. So the questions have been set by a team within the planning group. Alistair's been involved in that, and I think he's in the control room today with Seb and Hannah. So if we go to the bottom there before we return to the middle again, Seb and Hannah have been in the control room working on the tech. Jonathan Charmley there on the right was our Zoom controller last year, undergraduate at Reading, and he picked up that really quite hefty task to work the tech, to move the teams in and out smoothly, and Hannah and Seb have done that amazingly. Seb's from Leeds, Hannah is a Reading PhD, and Zoe's been helping as well with particularly with collating all the information from the teams. Mika, as I mentioned before, has been involved in the design of the T-shirt and also the design of Instagram and other social media. And Susan Medcalf, middle on the left, has just been amazing in terms of support and helping with questions, formatting, and being able to observe issues that when one is very close to this whole thing that you can overlook, and has had her eye firmly on our aims and objectives, making sure that we're producing certainly a great quiz, but also that we're working to support students and keep botany really flourishing. As I think we've seen, if we take 2016 onwards, we've seen botany at university maybe go from a bit of an also ran or something that's been somewhat neglected through to a situation I wouldn't say is as good as it can be, but which is getting better and better. And the fact that we've got 18 teams that have competed so well on really tough questions on plants, I think just says it all. That's my votes of thanks from my position here as the in the planning team. At this stage, I'd like to ask John if he would like to add some comments there.
Thanks, Jonathan. Yeah, I just have to reiterate your words and thank the Buccaneers, the team of people behind it that have worked so hard over this last year to bring it all together, writing the questions, sorting the questions, and making sure that the technologies all worked. And we probably need to sort of thank our sponsors as well, the New Phytologist Foundation, who've given us financial support this time, because up until this year, it's always been done on a bit of a shoestring, and your generosity, it should be said as well. So big thanks for you for supporting it so much in the past out of your research funds, Jonathan. I think it's amazing that we've got this far through without actually mentioning what motivated us in the first place. Because way back in 2016, it was me and you getting annoyed about the fact that there were so regularly reports of the death of botany. Have you ever seen anything less dead than what we've seen this afternoon?
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's actually a great joy. It's a great joy to see that, because it's not like we've been banging our heads on the wall since 2016. It's just been on the increase, and that's fantastic. And of course, as well as our planning team, we must go back and thank our two great chairs today for asking the questions and also providing the information for our audience as well as our students. And I think we've had a great audience here. I haven't looked at the exact numbers. As I say, I know we've sold well over 400 tickets on the Eventbrite. There will be videos of this week and next week to watch. But yeah, thanks so much to Chris and to Honor for really getting Botanical University Challenge 2022 off to such a great start.
And to you both as well.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure.
It really has. Enjoyed every
Yeah.
moment of it.
Yeah. And I'd particularly like to thank Hannah and Seb, because
yes,
there were some slightly disorganized moments, and they were so cool. Just fixed everything. So thanks, you guys.
Yeah,
good.
Absolutely. I've had some great messages. We've seen great messages on the YouTube, but also coming in on my mobile from colleagues saying how fantastic and brilliant it's been. And of course, it's been a new format this year, absolutely new, with this pub quiz style. And yes, we could have had some upbeat music, and I could have sung the Poasis song, but I think it's actually been great, and the suspense is built, and you've been spared having to listen to me sing. So I think, without further ado, I can remind the team. In fact, it would be great to bring the teams on now and remind them that we will be sending them a link to the Zoom after party, and we'd love to be able to have a chat with them. But it'd be great if we could see the teams on screen, even if it takes a while. We're actually way ahead of time. We were expecting to finish at 6 o'clock. It's only just coming up to 5 o'clock, so we've got loads of time to bring the teams on and to get some comments from all of you. It's been a great afternoon, and it'd be lovely to see you back on screen. I'm more than happy to I'm more than happy to release the mute on all the teams and just have a great gaggle of sound, so we can just finish with a celebration of our wonderful teams.
People are reluctant to come off mute still, I think.
Yeah, everybody's so well disciplined.
I know, we're all used to it now.
I've got the YouTube running alongside me on mute because it's very disconcerting because there's a lag, but I'm seeing the teams are appearing. It looks
see lots of happy faces.
Yeah, no, it's all coming to
relief, not happiness.
Relieved faces.
Until next week.
Yes.
Absolutely, yeah. But so looking. I'm looking. Well, I would be looking forward to it because I don't have to sit there and answer the questions. But great. Good to see you back, John.
Yeah. It's definitely harder in this format with the trying to keep an eye on the countdown clock and make sure that you hit the submit in time. I think that's why I missed a few in the first round.
I appreciate that, and you can, from my position, you can see all 16 teams answered that one. 2 teams didn't get there quick enough, and but all well done for dealing with that, because it's a new thing.
It is interesting, yes.
Next week will be more familiar to you. It's a similar format.
Yes, yeah. I'll be in a village hall around the back of Keswick somewhere doing lichen microscopy. So hopefully we'll have a reasonable signal.
Weasley, I can see you there. Let's have a wave from Weasley. Hey, brand new team for 2022, and we're going to see you next week. Fantastic. Reading, hello, Reading.
Hello.
How was your afternoon? I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good fun.
It's good fun. I mean, that's the point, isn't it? It's good fun. We know there's going to be a result that won't be exactly as we might have wanted, but it's all good. The result is good for the plants and for our enjoyment. I can see on the YouTube we've got everybody there, so we could, because I'm just seeing single faces on my screen. So maybe we can have a wave for Botanical University Challenge. We all wave for about a minute, then we'll get some nice something that we can use for our publicity. And if anyone wants, I'm more than happy for people to go to unmute and say something or not, as you wish. You'll have plenty of chance if you come to the Zoom after party to chat. But if anyone wants to say anything, now is your chance. Otherwise, we'll just celebrate you with some waves and say, see you next week. Looks great on the YouTube, loads of waves. Let's do that then. Let's say thank you again very much and see you next week.
See you next week, folks. Good luck.
Bye. Good luck. See you next week.
Bye.
Thanks all.